Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm caught up and we are going to discuss American Horror Story season 11 episodes 5 and 6. And like I said before, I'm loving these double episodes. Excellent. I hope they continue on doing it this way because it seems like it goes by faster than just doing one episode a week. Doing double episodes, it holds you over until the following week. So I think they should keep doing that throughout this whole series. But anyway, this series, New York City, is right now one of my favorite series under Coven. All right, first is Coven, and then this one. This is one of my favorite series. Ryan Murphy is doing it this time because usually by the fourth episode I'm done with him. Okay, but this season is off the chain. So let's go ahead and get into this. So, Hannah and Adam, they walking, they going for a walk basically. She's pregnant and they come across this psychic place. So she was like, let's go inside or whatever the case may be. He was like, he didn't really want to at first, but they both ended up going. So they both get a double dose of bad news, troubling news, okay, from the psychic Miss Fran. Miss Fran is in everything. Who turns over a parade of death cards during the ominous reading, because that was a strange reading that they had. Now, the next bad news comes from Hannah's OBGYN, who confirms that she has a low red blood cell count, not unlike the samples she took from the club fire victims, including Adam. So she's worried about that. She even snatched the file from the doctor's hand and was reading just to see how bad it was. Okay, so now we're going to move on to Theo and Adam. I guess they are item now. So Theo drags Adam back to the reading, the psychic reading place, where Fran is at, of course. So they are back there for another reading. And this one's even worse than the first one. A promise of Adam's death, complete with a demonic voice and what feels like an earthquake. But Fran said that was the subway because the subway's underneath them. So that was kind of crazy. So I want to know what is coming, what is coming, because it seems like he was having a hallucination, but was it? Was it real, or was it his imagination playing tricks on him? Let me tell you something about tarot cards. I don't fool with that stuff. I myself don't know how to read them, and I don't want to know how to read those cards. I know people that read them and who do really well with those, but to me, those cards always did scare me a little bit. Okay. So Barbara, and Patrick, they are at the office finalizing their divorce, and she passes out. But before she passes out, she wanted to, try to stick with the marriage. But Patrick, no, he was like, listen, this is good for both of us. We cannot stay married. And that is true, So she she passes out after she finalized the divorce from Patrick. Wakes up in the hospital. But what happens next is crazy. So when they're at the hospital and she wakes up, he's sitting there beside her, which is nice and which is kind of good. And he tells her what happened. And she was like, oh, my dog, could you go and, check on him and see what's going on, walk him or whatever. So he agrees to go. I don't think Barbara has set him up, but I do think, what if Barbara would have been back home? Would he have killed her? Because as we know what happens to her later on, those that watch the show knows what happens. So Patrick gets to the house, opens the door. He's talking. He hears some noise and he pulls out his gun and he says, hey, I'm here, whatever the case. Who is that? And all of a sudden, Big Daddy attacks Patrick at his ex-wife's apartment. All right. It was all crazy. So he's get thrown around and all types of stuff. And then here comes the police. Now, the police is there and these other guys, the on the force, the policemen, they making wisecrack jokes because now it's out that Patrick is gay. Now it's out. And I had a feeling that once that got out, that he was gonna start getting looks and he was gonna start getting looks and little remarks was gonna be made. So I knew that was gonna happen. And so, they put a car downstairs for her. And because when he goes back to Barbara's house when she's out the hospital, Barbara is dead. So after he attacked Patrick, when Barbara got home, he attacked Barbara. So I think that if she would have came home that night, he would have attacked her. And she would have been gone that day. But her being in the hospital saved her life for one more day. So Patrick was upstairs because there's a car downstairs. How did this even happen? Now, I want to know who's pulling the strings behind Big Daddy murdering people. There's a lot of things happening in these 2 episodes, and I want to know who's pulling the strings behind him. But anyway, so Barbara is gone. Big Daddy killed Barbara. Okay, so here we go with this guy, Frankenstein. He's up here torturing the victims that he picked up last week, which to me, I feel bad that they're going through this, but I don't feel sorry for them, because when you saw him do what he was doing in that part, you should have hauled ass and you should have called the police. But no, they want to follow him, and when they followed him, look what they got. It's just really, really crazy. So he started explaining that he's going to debut his creation during, during Pride, in New York City Pride. And he said something, "This year I've decided that the parade would mean something." He says, "For the first time, it will be honest. All it's missing is a heart and genitalia. And guess where Whitley is going to get those things from his 2 victims that he picked up." So episode 5 was kind of crazy. And let me just tell you something. Dennis O'Hara, I think his name is, he is playing these parts. Like, he is a really great actor. Really great actor. So now here we go. We're going to go to episode 6. A dead body believed to be Big Daddy's victim washes up on shore on Fire Island, right? And because Patrick is the gay cop enough to care, he gets the phone call. Now, the next call he makes is to Sam. And I'm wondering, okay, why is he calling Sam? But then it all makes sense later on. So he goes home, he packs his bag. Of course, Gino is concerned. He's like, "I'm going to Fire Island. I got a call. There's a body there." So Gino was like, "Okay, why are you staying the night?" And then he asks him, "Are you effing somebody?" I'm like, oh my God. And then he just tells Gino, don't be that jealous person. Gino and Patrick are something else. So, but I was still wondering why Patrick was calling Sam. Okay, so when Patrick leaves, Gina goes and follows him. But I left out something. A guy meets Dennis O'Hare inside the park. And because of the article that Gino wrote, he got to get rid of him. Okay? So when Gino is in the house and he runs outside because he left his door open, and he runs outside to see where Patrick was going and who was picking him up or what was going on. He saw that he got in a convertible with Sam and they're on their way to Fire Island. Okay. So he's like, So he goes upstairs and he goes to grab his bag, and guess who's sitting there? Yes, he is sitting there waiting for Gino. Dennis O'Hare. He is sitting there waiting for Gino. But his name is Billy. Okay. So he's talking to him and he's like, "Listen, and he pulls out his gun and he explains what's going on. And then Gino tells Billy, Patrick is in Fire Island. So I'm like, okay, here we go. So how is this all going to turn out? So they head for so Sam and Patrick are at the spot in Fire Island. Of course, Sam owns it because Sam is rich. He has money and he has parties. I've heard a lot of things that goes on Fire Island. You know, it is what it is. So they're there. They reminisce about the body they apparently buried in a shallow sand dune, implying that they share more of a history than we know, and which is true. They have history together. So when they go to a flashback, we learn that Patrick met Sam in 1979 during his first trip to Fire Island. He also met a man named Billy at one of Sam's legendary, parties where things got a lot out of hand. Okay, now, Billy is not the old man. Sorry if I gave you that information. Billy is not the old man. Billy is the guy that they met, and he's the one that ended up dying. Okay, in a threesome with Sam and Patrick, because he had that mask on and he was tied up. So let me tell you something. Sam is one kinky man, I tell you that. So they up there sniffing coke and doing all kinds of stuff, and everything just went wrong. So Sam and Patrick buried him in the dunes. Henry, now confirmed to be a fixer for the mob. Henry is the guy, the oldest guy that's playing the character. Dennis O'Hare is playing the character of. Dennis O'Hare is playing the character of Henry, okay? So, I know he was a fixer for the mob. But this is what we all found out. Okay, so Sam calls him and he, came and he with another friend, Whiteley. So here we have Patrick, Sam, Henry, and Whiteley all in the same house together. So that's why they're all connected. Because I was wondering, like, what is going on? So when Gino and Henry got to Fire Island, Gino was like, what is going on here? So he found out everything. And I know that was a lot for him to take in. It was a lot for me to take in. So, wow. So Henry is the fixer. Sam calls Henry. Henry brought Whiteley with him. Okay. And because Whiteley works in the hospital, he cut the body up precisely. Okay. Wow. That was a lot. So that introduced everybody who's tied together. Now, we go back to the present day. Henry and Gino, comes up with this plan to lure Whiteley out and put an end to his killing spree. Now, Whiteley knows something is up because Henry been dealing with this guy, so he's like, he knows something is wrong. So, Henry meets his associate at their favorite spot where Whiteley offers him, of course, a Mai Tai drink. But Henry pushes it to the side and gets a drink from behind the bar. Okay, so they talk for a little bit and then Whiteley goes into the bathroom. All right. After he took Gino's in the car in the back seat because the plan was that when Whiteley come in the car, he was going to hold him at hostage. They're going to take him to the pier and they was going to kill him. Well, Henry was going to finish him off. It didn't happen that way, and I had a feeling it was not going to happen that way. But anyway, so Whiteley is taking a while in the bathroom. Henry goes in after him. He has his gun in there. But guess what? Wiley got a hold of Henry and he drugs him. So when he comes out of the bathroom, he acts as if Whiteley was drunk, saying that he had too much to drink or all that kind of stuff. So, he carries him out. Now, Gino is watching all of this. Gino is watching all of this that's going on. So when he sees Wiley put Henry into the car, he gets into the front seat of Henry's car and drives to follow what's his name, Wiley. I think at this moment Henry is a goner. All right. So we get to the payphone and Gino calls Patrick and say, hey, Wiley got Henry. And he tells Patrick, I need you. When I tell you, listen, this episode is off the chain. I am ready for the next episodes, and I hope next week we still get 2, because you can't just do 1 and think that's going to work. No, we need 2. So those of you who watched this episode, what do you think about it? I'm feeling it. I think this is like one of the Ryan Murphy's best seasons. But anyway, the video is a little bit too long as it is. You guys, let me know what you think in the comment section, and I will talk to you later. Like I said, I love this season so far. Everything is going well. Everything is connecting. You could tell the writing is off the chain. Did he get different writers? This is a really good season it's going to be. But anyway, I cannot wait for next week to see what happens. I'll talk to you guys later.